Hey guys, so in honor of myself, today I'm gonna talk about failure. I'm gonna try to keep it short, but there is a lot that I could say about this. Failure is stigmatized for absolutely no good reason, while in reality it's good if it's dealt with in a constructive manner, but most people don't know how to deal with it like in a healthy way because we've all been taught not to. So that's why I want to talk about it, because maybe if you're listening to this, you can actually learn something and learn how to think about it in a better way so that you can be happy. So for the sake of tackling the problem, I've split it into two parts. So first, I think that we're afraid of failure because we're afraid of the direct consequences of it. Like, for example, I get bad grades and so I don't get into university, I get a bad job, and I become financially unstable and stuff like that. And second, I think that we are also afraid of failure because we feel bad, like it hurts our self-esteem. And so I'm gonna start with the direct consequences, because I think that a huge part of it is that we're, like, in most places in the world, everything is like overhyped. We're taught that we have to do well in school, we have to get a good job, we have to, we have to get married, we have to do all kinds of things. And that really puts a lot of pressure on us. And so we learn to kind of have these expectations on ourselves as well. In other words, we're conditioned to think that we have to succeed at everything, when really we don't. And that's why I think that it's really important to question, like, why do I have to succeed at this? Or is there any other way? Like, what's the alternative? And so I have this theory, which is going to sound really woolly at first, and that is that everything is possible. And when I say that, I don't mean it because it sounds pretty. I mean it because everything is actually possible if you think about it. Because if you think about it, like, from the point where I am now, there is an endless amount of ways in which the future could develop, right? And so you could kind of think of it as like an infinite amount of timelines, because there are so many things that could happen, and more than one of those ways have to lead to where I want. So if I fail, then all I have to do is try again to find one of the other ways that lead to where I want to be. And so what I want to say with this is that be patient and take your time, because that's totally okay too. Like, if you feel like your grades are bad, then it's fine to take an extra year. It's fine to read up on some other courses if you feel like you need that. And so just because maybe you went in the wrong direction in the past, like, you still have time to fix things. You have time to fix things, even if you feel like your peers are doing things already. There's nothing inherently better about doing everything right away. If you take your time to do things properly, odds are that things are going to be better for you in the end. Also, sometimes you can feel like, well, even if I do take a lot of time, I'm just, like, not good enough at it, so it's still not going to be enough. And then, like, it's alright to settle. Like, you don't have to go for the most, like, difficult thing for you all the time, because things are also, like, different people are good at different things. And, like, there is no such thing as a good job or a bad job. There are only jobs that are well done. All jobs are needed, otherwise they wouldn't exist. And so there is your job, and then there are jobs that just aren't for you, and that's totally okay. Just find what suits you and, like, do your best at that, and be proud that you're doing what you're doing. That said, you will be fine, because I said so. But then there's the other problem, and that is that even if we're fine, we can still have, like, really bad self-esteem, because even if we're, like, making it alright in the system, failure still kind of hurts our pride. And so this is gonna sound really cliche, but I mean it. Everybody fails. All you can do is to work hard to decrease the probability of failure, but failure in itself is still inevitable. And it doesn't necessarily say anything about how good or bad you are at things. And even so, being bad at things is like, that's okay. Like, everyone is bad at things. And so like all of this might sound like perhaps like I'm promoting not wanting to be good and not wanting to be ambitious. And it might sound like someone who doesn't really try a lot, but I'm probably the most ambitious person I know. I'm not gonna elaborate because there's a lot, but the point is that it's not about not wanting to do well, it's about knowing when it's worth it and about being constructive. Like, you can aim high and accept failure at the same time. The whole like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna hope for much because then I don't get let down, like that's bullshit. It doesn't have to be that way. Yeah, I think I've learned a lot of this from doing sports because I used to do sports on like a pretty high level. And my dad used to coach me, and so we worked a lot, we talked a lot about like attitudes and mentality. And he'd always tell me to separate my achievements from myself, so I could, in that way I could criticize my performance while also not feeling like a bad person because of it. And I think that this is something that we probably all understand, but it's really difficult to do when it comes to ourselves. But like, if you are, say, a really nice person who is absolutely horrible at playing basketball, I'm not gonna dislike you for that. I don't care. So then why should I care like about myself if I don't do well at something? And I think that realizing that growth is what life is usually very, very helpful. So instead of like looking at what you're doing and exactly like looking at your performance, like I like to look at things and ask myself, what can I learn? That's what we would always do after my competitions. Like, even if I won, we would look at things and be like, all right, so what did I do bad? What can I do better? And even if I lost, we would look at, all right, so what did you do well? And like, we would do that regardless of what actually happened. We would look at, all right, what did I do good? What did I do bad? How can I do better? Either way, I'm still a good person. And like, that goes for life as well. Like, even if you're missing out on an opportunity to climb whatever it is that you're climbing, you're given an opportunity to grow as a person, which will make the climb easier in the future. And so learning to deal with both success and failure in a healthy way makes you competitively a beast. But more importantly, it also helps you to deal with your achievements, good or bad, in a way that makes you feel better. So, in conclusion, rather than focusing on concrete achievements, you should look at your own personal growth. And even if it feels like you're far behind everybody else, or that you're moving slowly, or maybe not even at all, that's still okay. Just do things at your own pace. It's okay if you fail now, because that doesn't necessarily say anything about where you're going to be in the future. And as long as you're happy or will be happy, it doesn't really matter. And bad things will happen, absolutely, unfortunately, but they're usually not as bad as you think. And yeah, so just do your best, be patient, and grow. Believe in yourself. Peace.